Might as well say it. Susan, what the hell have you been smoking?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be covering season 2 of Desperate Housewives, aka the worst season ever. So starting off strong, we have some new characters in the season. We have the Applewhites, we have Betty Applewhite, Caleb Applewhite, and Matthew Applewhite. Now, these three characters are like supposed to be the mystery in the show that replaces Mary Alice, but they're really not that interesting, and they're actually kind of like creepy. Like, they don't really interact well with the other characters. They kind of just are in their own lane, and then the other characters are like interacting with each other sort of, but not really. They're not really interacting with each other much this season, honestly. It's like everybody has their own totally different plot line, and it's kind of insane. I don't know, this season is just not very put together. It's all over the place. Fan hated season, to be quite frank. A lot of people don't like it. Alrighty, so today's word of the day is impecunious, meaning poor or impoverished. And yeah, so basically this season is all about the Applewhites. Everybody kind of has their own plot line, and it's just all together messy and not really a great season. The girls don't really interact with each other. Everyone has their own life. Lynette goes back to work, Carlos goes to jail, Gabby is trying to work it out with Carlos, Susan is with Mike and she's not with Mike. They don't know if it's over yet. She gets back with Mike. She finds Zach, who in this season we find out that Zach is not actually Mary Alice or Paul Young's biological child. It belongs to Denise and Mike. So Denise is Mike's ex-girlfriend from 16 years ago who died, which is how they ended up not being together anymore. And ever since, Mike has been on the hunt for her. So basically Mike tracks her down to Wisteria Lane, which is why he moves on to the lane in the first place, which is why he's been so mysterious, because he's only there to look for his ex-girlfriend and clues about his ex. And he knew that his ex was pregnant, so now he's also looking for the child, which is his child, which is Zach Young. And Zach Young is another creepy character. Just overall weird. He has extremely short temper. I can even call it a short temper. He has anger issues, straight up. He's very attracted to Julie. A lot of these stalkerish people are attracted to Julie for some reason. I don't know. He's attracted to Julie. He really loves Julie. Julie is kind of like a soft, kind-natured person, so she tries to help him out too. She can't really help him though, because again, Julie is like 12 or 13 years old at this point. So for Julie to sit there and be helping this boy is almost impossible. She kind of like hides him in her room and stuff. That doesn't work out, obviously, you know. All right, the Applewhites are the newest family on the lane, and they moved in the middle of the night. They move out at the end of the season in the middle of the night, or they try to at least, but they're not that successful. So also in this season, Bree's husband has passed. It's second season. We're kind of seeing her dealing with the grief and stuff now. She is hurt about it, but she needs to hold herself together because everything around her is falling apart. So she needs to keep herself grounded while the world around her is ungrounded. She has to deal with Andrew, who's... wow, Andrew's just really getting more of a menace at this point. He doesn't want to see his mom date anyone else. He thinks that his mom is the reason why his dad is dead. He feels like his mom is ruining his life, everybody else's life. He's just spoiled brat. It is what it is. Not feeling Andrew this time. So Bree starts dating George, and George is their pharmacist, who, spoiler alert, is actually the murderer of Rex. So Rex was poisoned. They figured this out in the autopsy, and they assumed that it was a heart attack, but the pharmacist George had poisoned Rex so that it would look like a heart attack, but he was really giving him, he had heart problems, so he was giving him pills to make his heart problems worse instead of better. So that whole thing happens. Brie doesn't know about this when she starts dating him. So then his ex pulls up, George's ex pulls up and is like, yo, are you dating George? And she's like, yeah, of course. And then his ex is like, he's crazy, he's a stalker, he's doing all these crazy things. I believe that his ex said that some guy liked her or whatever, so he burned down his car. And Brie hears all this, and you know what Brie does? She said, I don't really believe that. And she continues to date him until she herself sees signs of him being absolutely crazy. Like, she's trying to dance with her old friend. He said, excuse me, we're engaged, we're engaged. He grabs her, he starts yelling at her. He's like, you have to wear the engagement ring. Rah, rah. He just gets violent with her or whatever. He moves really, really fast. He introduced her to his family off the bat. Like, the way how he low-key kind of was like, we're moving forward in this relationship is by introducing her to his family, by buying her a house.
Okay, I'm starting to get the feeling that we're not going to a yard sale.
That was just a clever ruse to get you into my car. Are you ready for your surprise?
Mm-hmm. Oh. George, this is just an empty house. Why is this a surprise?
I just bought it.
Oh my God! Congratulations! Oh, George, I didn't even know you were looking. Hurry, Seal. They're here. I'm coming. Hey, Georgie.
Bree, I'd like you to meet my mother.
George never introduces me to anyone. So I knew you were special.
And this is Seal. This is my mother's friend and the real estate agent who sold me the house.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, we're gonna go in the back so George can, you know.
So? You really like it?
I do. I really do.
Good, because I was sort of hoping that you might like to live here. Bree? Will you marry me?
Huh?
I love you, and I think I know how you feel about me. So why wait?
George, Rex hasn't even been dead for 2 months.
Yes, but if his death has taught us anything, it's that life is short. It's dumb to play it safe. If we see a chance for happiness, we should grab it and hold on tight.
See, I thought we were going to a yard sale.
Please. Just say the word and you'll make me the happiest guy on earth.
Congratulations, you two! Mazel tov!
Guys, wait, she hasn't said yes yet.
Oh, I told you we should wait.
So, Bree, what do you say?
See, George, the thing is... Okay.
Just off the bat. And I was like, George. And I'm also like, Brie, this lady done told you what it was, and you're over here playing around. It's not a joke. Like, she just is not serious at all in this season. She starts getting back into alcohol, so Andrew decides to accuse her of child. I don't want to say that word on here, but it starts with M.
Could you live with a woman who hits you? Bree!
I slapped him once and he deserved it.
Well, I just asked her to stop drinking.
You were drinking?
She's an a.a. Her sponsor has long hair.
Andrew, I find your concern ironic given how tanked you were when you ran over our neighbor's mother with your car.
Is she okay?
She's dead.
Well, Mom watched as her boyfriend committed suicide. And he was the same guy who killed Dad.
Andrew falsely accused me of molestation. In a mall.
Andrew accuses her of that. Basically makes her go through this whole court case or whatever because she doesn't want to give him his trust fund to buy a car or something like that. It's just so messy, and it's honestly so sad because she's going through a lot right now. So at this time though, she's watching Lynette's Boys. She falls asleep because of how drunk she's been getting, and there's even a point in the season where they find her just sprawled out in the front lawn.
Yes? Hi, did you know your mother is asleep on the lawn?
And Andrew just uses that to his full advantage. He's like such a dick about it. And yeah, that's... Oh, so let me tell you guys how it ends with George. So y'all know George and Bree not gonna last for nothing. So let me tell you guys how it ends. Basically, George decides to commit unaliving, and he does it by overdose. And so he takes the pills, calls Bree. Bree comes to the room. She asks him, hey, did you poison my husband? He's like, I did what I had to do for you, baby. I love you. And she's like, you do? Okay. So she just leaves him to die. She just, instead of calling the ambulance to come resuscitate him, she just lets him die. She said, you poisoned my husband, and now you poison yourself. You live how you die. And she just let him die. And that was, it is what it is. She just let the man die. And she walked out the room, and that was the end of that. So I told you guys that Susan and Mike broke up. They broke up because, so when Susan found Zach kept mentioning Julie and how much she wants to talk to her. And instead of Susan telling Mike that she found his son, she lets him go. Because there's a point at the season where they think that Zach is dead, but Zach actually isn't dead. It was another kid's body. And so, you know, Mike is looking for his son. This is his only living child, and Mike wants to have kids. So when Susan does this, it's a total betrayal, because she went out there with him, handing out flyers and all this type of stuff to find him. And then when she does find him, she lets him go. And Edie called her ass out on this. Edie was like, well, you're gonna pretend to be this. So Edie basically chewed her ass up, as she should, and she called her out for this, because I'm telling you guys, right? What did I say? Edie and Susan are like the same person in different fonts. I don't know why they're not just friends in the show. I really don't know why they're not just friends in the show. It's kind of bothersome, honestly, because they're so similar. So Edie, at this point, Edie is actually dating Susan's ex. Now let me tell you guys something that I didn't tell you guys in season 1's video. So in season 1 video, I forgot to mention that Susan and Edie ran into each other when Edie first moved onto the lane, or was it Susan? I don't know. One of them. Somebody moved onto the lane, and then they started interacting, right? So they were like cool for a while, because again, I said these are the same people in different fonts. They were cool for a while, and then Edie saw that Carl was cheating on Susan. So Edie was like, yo, I don't mean to tell you this, but I seen your husband out with another. And then Susan, instead of being like, oh my god, what the fuck, you know how most people react when you or somebody else tells them that so and so is doing something he shouldn't be doing. They just get mad at the person who's telling them as opposed to the person who's doing it. And this is exactly what happened in this situation. And from that moment on, Susan declared that Edie didn't like her, and she only did that to get back at her, which is not true. Edie actually just told her just to not to ruffle with her, but she really just told her to look out for her, assuming that her new friend would want to know this information, but her new friend didn't want to know, and so that's why they're not friends. So since Edie Edie plays too much, so Edie decides to date her ex Carl, which I don't know why Edie does this. Again, they're the same person, so they're both desperate for the same dumbass thing. I'm not saying men are dumb, but they're both pining for dumbass men. So Edie is dating Carl or whatever, and see, this is the problem with Edie. Edie wants to get married so bad, but she always chooses stupid ass men to get married to, men that clearly don't like her or anyone for that matter. You saw this man cheating on his wife and you're gonna date him? Are you for real? She's just not serious. So she decides to date him, and then look what Susan gonna do. So I forgot to mention in season 1's video too, right? Susan burned down Edie's house because she thought Mike was in there, like getting it on with Edie. So she burned down her house on accident, and instead of going upstairs and be like, yo, I accidentally set your shit on fire, I'm sorry I broke into your crib, like let's get out of here, let's set out the fire, whatever, right? She gonna let the house burn. She let the whole house burn down to the bone. Edie had to live with Martha Huber for a while, and then Martha Huber started stealing from Edie because Martha Huber ain't got no money. She always arguing with the bank on the phone or whatever. So Susan sleeps with her ex-husband Carl, who's now Edie's man.
Are you crazy?
Just tell me what to do, Susie. You want me to marry Edie, I will. You want me to call off the wedding, I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. I'm putty.
Carl! What?
So when they sleep together or whatever, he goes back to Edie. They get into a whole like altercation about that. And then, so Susan doesn't want to tell Edie about this because she knows what Edie's gonna do. Well, she doesn't know actually. So she decides, Susan's dumbass, she decides to write Edie a letter telling her what she did. And then she's like, oh, by the way, like I slept with your man and I burned down your house. I'm like, Susan.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
What? First of all, if you're gonna do all that, you might as well go tell the girl that you went and did this to her. Go ahead and tell her, because you did all that and you didn't care, and then you're gonna write it in a letter and send it like, oh, kiki. So let me tell you what Edie does when she gets this letter. So Edie takes a can of gasoline, walks herself over to Susan's house after she reads this letter, and burn that up. She watches it burn to the ground. She's like, since you want to play around, let's play around. Unlike Susan, Edie boldly admits that she did this to Susan.
Yes, I burnt down your house, you sleazy little whore.
So Susan goes over there to try and find out who burned over her house. She's thinking that's probably Edie. It is Edie. She brings a wire, gets Edie to confess. Edie peeps that she got a wire. She rips open her shirt. She sees the wire. They start running down the block. Edie trips and falls. She gets stung by a bunch of bees. And it's just very unfortunate. Like, Susan is just a hot mess in this season. And this is where my problems with Susan really begin. It's just, she's so annoying. Like, I just don't understand why. I don't, like, all the things she does, I'm just like, why? You're sleeping with your ex who cheated on you and walked out. Like, babe, like, find something better to do. So let's get into the Applewhites before we move on to the other characters, because they kind of like intercede on this. So the only time the other characters interact with her is when they hear these weird noises coming from her basement, which is her mentally challenged son, who she has locked up in chains in the basement. Bro, y'all, the writers of this show at this time were not serious. They were not serious. She has him locked up in the basement because they believe him to have killed his brother's ex-girlfriend. But guess what? You know who killed his brother's ex-girlfriend? His brother. His brother killed his ex-girlfriend because his brother is insane. His brother is not all he seems to be. He seems to be nice and sweet, like a well-respected boy. No, his brother has anger issues and is crazy and be ready to snap at the drop of a hat. So she doesn't know this until like the end of the season. So she spends all this time keeping Caleb in the basement because they think that he's a danger to other people. And instead of getting him the help that he needs, they just keep him locked up in the basement. They feed him every now and then. And whenever he like comes out and attacks them and stuff, they just hit him over the head and put him back in the basement. Betty Applewhite, to me, they just made her out to be such a weird character, and the whole family was just really weird because then Matthew has a thing for Danielle and that's who he wants to run away with, and this is how her storyline and Bree's storyline kind of like cross over because Bree wants, there's one thing about there's one thing about Betty Applewhite that you need to know. So she's a really good pianist. She's gifted, very beautiful pianist, and basically Brie asked her to perform at her husband's funeral, and so she asked her to perform there. She performed this beautiful rah-rah, and then Susan goes over there. Susan asks her for lessons because Julie's in the talent show and Edie's supposed to be playing the guitar for Julie in the talent show, but Susan don't like this, of course. So you know what Susan does. Susan plays the mom card. She gets her baby girl to perform with her, and then last minute she lets Edie perform with her because she untuned the piano and she wanted to embarrass Edie. Again, this is like their toxic friendship is so unnecessary, but it's supposed to be entertaining, so you know, I guess. Yeah, so Brie at first she doesn't like Betty Applewhite because she knows she's obviously hiding something. She's trying to find it out. So Brie doesn't like people in her business, but one thing about Brie, she's gonna be in everyone's business, because if you watch any of the other seasons, Brie just gets more nosy. It don't get better. She literally has a key to everyone's house in the neighborhood. If that's not messy, I don't know what is. Basically, Andrew don't mess with George at all. So let me tell you what Andrew does. So let me roll the clip. Here you go.
Isn't that bizarre? That's the sound my mom makes when she climaxes.
Yeah, Andrew does that, whatever that was. And so George decides to stay away from Brie. And you know what he does? Yo. So George gonna go swimming, give her a last little gifty gift or whatever to, you know, remember him by. And then Andrew sees this. You know what Andrew gonna do? He gonna beat the out of George. He gonna bop George down. So he takes George out. He's like, he's kissing my mom. He's kissing my mom. And George is like bleeding on the floor. He's like, ugh. And Andrew's like, y'all see that? Because he, not gonna lie, he ride or die for his mom, but he's also the same reason why his mom be having all these issues. I believe at the end of the season that oh yeah, Brie drops him at the side of the road and she decides to just abandon him because she's sick of this. She's sick of him. She's sick of all this. She's tired. She's tired. So she leaves him at the side of the road. She just leaves him there.
There's so many things I want to say to you, Andrew. But mostly I just want you to know how sorry I am.
Sorry for what?
Every child deserves to be loved unconditionally. And I thought that was the kind of love that I had for you. Maybe if I had it would have been different.
Why do I suddenly get the feeling we're not going to make it out to Perkins College today? What are you doing?
Packed up some of your things. There's also an envelope in here with some money, and that should tide you over until you get a job.
What, you're gonna leave me out here in the middle of nowhere?
I noticed a bus stop about a mile back. You can go anywhere you want.
Mom, please don't do this.
I have to. I can't be around you anymore. I'm just not strong enough.
You know what the good news is? I win.
You win?
I remember the look in your eyes when I told you I was gay. And I knew that one day you would stop loving me. So, here we are. I was right. So, I win.
Good for you.
With some money in his clothes. And then he's just homeless, and then he starts pimping himself out. So at the end of the season, when it's discovered that Matthew's actually the violent one, they play the whole thing with his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend or whatever. They find out that he's crazy. So he decides to run away with Danielle. And you know what he does instead of running away with Danielle? Girl, he tries to kill Danielle's mom to take all the money so they can run away. And Danielle was with it at first, but then when he pulls out this gun, she's like, where did you get that? Where did you get that? See, this is the thing with Danielle. Danielle is so dumb. Danielle will put herself in the worst position, like find a random boy to just be all up with, and then be surprised when he's like crazy or something. Just like her mom. They both don't think at all. Her mom tried to warn her, she didn't listen. The ex-girlfriend of the mom's boyfriend tried to warn her, she didn't listen. It seems like the whole family has a problem with listening, because Andrew didn't listen, and neither did Rex, and neither does Phyllis. No one in the family listened. Like, it's just very, no one listens in this family ever until shit gets weird. So yeah, the only person I didn't talk about was Lynette and Gabby. So Lynette goes back to work this season. She has a weird boss. Her boss is like super tense because her boss never gets laid, so she's just so stressed or whatever. And her boss is like kind of a, if you know what I mean, she makes Lynette stay when Lynette has kids. She tells Lynette that she's kid-free by choice. It's just, one minute she likes Lynette, the next minute she hates Lynette. It seems like everyone despises Lynette for having children. And then Lynette despises having children sometimes, but she also loves her kids down. Because in this season, she's always trying to have the best of both worlds, because Tom is a stay-at-home dad now. And Tom as a stay-at-home dad is not that great because the house is very messy. So one night they're trying to sleep. She finds puke in the bed. She's like, Tom, you didn't change the sheets? And Tom is like, hell no. And she's like, excuse me, like, you should change these sheets. I'm not going to bed like this. And he's like, we're not changing the sheets because you have a control issue. Which I ain't gonna lie, she do got a control issue. She be doing too much. Like, she wants to control every single thing. Like, she won't let him make a decision for nothing. So they fight about this. This is the beginning of their issues. They fight about this. She decides to go on the couch. She's starting to think of ways to plot on him. So she said, you know what, since the house is so dirty, I'm gonna get a mouse in here to scare him. She brings the mouse scares him. He cleans the house. She gets what she wants, but now she can't return the mouse to the store because Dad is dead. And yeah, so that's basically Lynette's whole thing. And at the end of the season, I think like he wants to start a business or something. I'll tell you guys about that business in season 3, because season 3 is crazy. Like, you thought this was crazy? Season 3 is crazy, but it's so much better put together than this one. Again, worst season ever. So Gabby apologizes to Carlos. He gets free. He doesn't like her lawyer that she chose, because the lawyer that she chose is actually praying to hit on her or whatever. And so they go to jail with the lawyer or whatever, and she tells Carlos, she's like, oh, you know, I got this lawyer, he saw this, he's like, Carlos said, get him out of here, we're done with him, because he can clearly see that the lawyer likes Gabby. So Gabby decides to bring the lawyer to tell Carlos that he doesn't like her, right? She goes, you don't like me, right? I think his name is David or whatever. Right, David? You know what David said? He said, yes, sir, I'm trying to bang your wife. David, sir, you're supposed to be getting him out of jail. not trying to steal his wife from up under him. He don't like this because Carlos is a quite jealous man, so he not playing with that. They try and go to court. She tries to convince Carlos that he's a good lawyer. They try and go to court or whatever, and he ends up getting shot on the way to court. And he's like, oh my god, Gabby, you make my life have so much meaning. And this is what leads to him telling Carlos that BS or whatever. It's just a mess. But Carlos eventually ends up being free. They start to try and adopt a kid because she was the baby, because Caleb broke into her house, scared her, she fell down the stairs. Such a mess. They're trying to adopt a baby because of what she did to old boy John Rowland. They can't, because his mom is the head of the adoption agency, so they're donezo because of what she did. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, maybe don't go around banging the gardener who's supposed to be trimming your bushes outside, not inside. But that's about it for season 2. There's nothing really more to say about season 2. It's a pretty messed up season. It's just messy. Season 3 is better, I promise. Season 3 might actually be one of the strongest seasons in the show. Season 3, 5, and maybe 7. 8 is messy too. 8 is kind of like 2. But whatever. Today's outfit is inspired by Susan Meyer. This will be at the V-neck. The little sweater. You know, the light makeup. The eyes especially are giving Miss Susan. So just all me. I didn't feel like doing a wig today. The puffs are cute. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Hello, Edie. Do you have something you'd like to say?
No, that pretty much says it all.
Can't focus on